Eddie and Gary. It's Carly, Jo, Victoria from the She Runs Outdoor team.
We have just come down from the Nut and we are next to Hayeswater. Carly and Jo are recceing for one of the 13 Valleys routes and I'm their local tour guide.
We've enjoyed a little paddle in the water, had a little sandwich, cheese and pickle obviously, and then we'll be on our way.
So welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast with Gary and Eddie.
Oh yeah, I forgot that bit.
Hello and welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast, and thanks for the intro, Jo, Victoria and Carly from the She Runs Outdoor team. A lovely 13 Valleys recce. We had cheese and pickle sandwiches, Eddie. A dip in some water too. Yeah, hopefully see you soon, ladies. I think in the summer, the end of a run where you get your toes wet in the stream, that is 10 out of 10.
I love a wash off of the salt. If you're in a stream and you can just rub it up your legs, get it all off.
Please keep those intros coming. Email them to hello@teaandtrails.com. I think we are all out of intros.
I'm a little bit relieved, Gary, because at one point I was like, I can't keep on top of this. But shall I put a shout out? I'm going to go on Facebook. I'm going to put a shout out. What's coming up? Races, recce's. What are we looking at?
Lap. Sure, the lap's coming up. That's a big one.
Not the lap. Lakes in a day. Lakes in a day. You're thinking.
I think the lap is this weekend.
I'm so sorry. Anyone doing it going, what? No, it's not this weekend. Lap, Lakes in a day.
Lakes in a day looks ace, doesn't it? You've got literally point to point. It's quite spicy too. You know, you go over the Helvellyn Range, you do Blencathra, Fairfield.
All your faves.
Was it a few years ago they were running around Windermere and it was like knee deep water.
I think it was like waist deep.
Wow, says.
Great.
Kudos, high fives and big hugs to all our patrons and everyone who has joined Patreon over the last week. For the price of a cuppa, you can help keep the lights hot and the mics on and save big time on all your trail running essentials. Loads of brands offering great discounts over on Patreon. And don't forget, if you would like a snood or a bobble hat, then you need to add your address to Patreon. No address, no goodies. Also join Patreon for a year and you save 10% on your membership. And if you join the Legend tier above, we will send you a bobble hat too. I learned something this week. You can gift Patreon. I did not know that even existed. So if you have a podcast fan in your life, then spread the love and treat them to the ultimate podcast gift.
Is that what you gave Lisa?
She be lucky. She be lucky.
Thanks to X Miles for Simple Hydration, Harry Trail Running, Phoenix Light UK and Protein Rebel for sponsoring our show. X Miles is a family-owned, independent endurance sports retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at their best. They offer a wide range of high-quality products from leading brands, and their team of nutrition experts, cyclists, runners and outdoor enthusiasts can provide expert advice and guidance to help you reach your goals. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started, X Miles is the perfect place to find everything you need to succeed. You get 10% store credit. Use the link in the show notes, www.xmiles.co.uk. As you were talking then, I was listening obviously intently to every word. I was just looking at your Tea and Trails cap and I'd forgotten about the contour lines inside the... there they are. I was having a little moment thinking, I need to appreciate that. If you would like a Tea and Trails cap like Gary is sporting today, you can pop over to Yugoku Projects and patrons receive 20% off all our discount codes of how to join Patreon, all that stuff. It's in the show notes or it's at www.teaandtrails.com. I realise reading sponsors bits can be a bit repetitive and I hate it when they play the same thing, so I always try and put different intonation, a little bit of different wording into it.
Got good energy, Eddie.
Yeah, to keep people on their toes when they're jogging along, so it's not the same. They might hear something different, it might spike their interest somewhere. Then
I just read it verbatim.
You just read it. I can just literally, when you're reading something, I reckon I could take all my clothes off and dance around naked and you would not know.
Zero response.
Probably zero response anyway. Just be like, oh my god, Eddie, I've seen it all before. Put it on. Enough. Sorry, there's a slight pause there. I scrolled down and read your first sentence. I was like, oh my God, where are we going with this podcast today?
That's a heavy first sentence, isn't it?
Heavy first sentence.
Well, it's good news. A couple of weeks ago, I had a colon cancer test. First off, thanks for all the messages. I had so many people reaching out saying that thank you for sharing on the podcast, and people had already had this test in various parts of the world. I was super stressed out, but happy to report I got the all clear. And yeah, some of the messages I got must have been from people who worked in the NHS, because I think it's quite common not to do the test. So yeah, if you get the letter and the little box turns up, please do it. I only did one strength session and zero form rolling.
your poor body.
We basically had a couple of interviews to record, which normally we do one a week plus the actual
And I messed it
episode.
all up. I'm really sorry. It was you were so kind to me last week. I'll talk about that a bit later.
I went out 2 nights of the week and it was Lisa's birthday. So I think ultimately this week, my little routine was just disrupted. Happy belated birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday. What'd you do? Big
We
celebrations?
went to the Metro Centre, played mini golf.
Metro Centre.
I think mini golf, it's a lot easier than I remember it. I think it's to basically, you know what it's like. You've had young kids.
This is a lot
Straight with the
easier than
flex.
I remember when I was playing the Ryder Cup.
We've both got kids who've been younger, and mini golf could turn into chaos. Pretty angry.
Weapons and anger.
So I think they dumbed it down just so everybody's feeling pumped at the end of it.
Did you go with the kids, or was it just you and Lisa?
Lisa, George and myself.
Okay, it was just you and Lisa going.
Well, even George is 17, so he's not a kid anymore.
Who won?
You know what? We didn't keep scores. It was an evolution of the rules. Everybody could be active at once at the same time. And then you could even sabotage other people's balls.
Yeah, I'm all for this.
We didn't do any of that. We didn't even keep
Oh.
scores. It was just fun times.
Oh, okay. We better not play together.
And then we went to Wagamama's for tea afterwards. So everybody, I think that's our universally as a family. What's our favourite eating out experience? I'd say, yeah, Wagamama's must rate
Well,
pretty
we've not
hard.
taken our kids there yet because you got to go big city for Wagamama's, haven't you? But when we next go down London town, what's your choice in a Wagamama's?
Oh, goodness me. I had some, you wouldn't like it. It was a fish curry, basically.
Yeah, I think Bryn has the katsu curry.
Classic.
Katsu curry. I think I have like a pad thai noodly thing, and then I always go for because they write it all on your piece of paper, don't you? Plus a smoothie, plus all the bit you order so much.
Oh,
don't you?
wow. It's like an £8 smoothie, Eddie. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable goodness going into my body, Gary. I need
Chili
it.
squid, too. Oh, that was incredible.
Oh,
You would
God.
hate my- you would
I
hate-
would not be sitting next to you.
George unwittingly had his Sunderland top on in the Metro Centre, which I would say it's like 80% dominant Newcastle. So it was a bold move. And as he took his jacket off,
Did you go?
well, I was a bit anxious because I thought, well, if someone says something, I've got to defend him. But the guy in the next booth in Wagamama's, he had his Newcastle top on. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, hey, it's all going to kick off. You know, midweek when someone says they want to go out, my first reaction is like, oh my goodness me. But yeah, it was wonderful. Alban App had me doing 2 steady runs. You mentioned this a few times about John Alban. He likes that steady run, that zone 3. And I love that, just chugging along. You're not really rinsing yourself, but you're not taking it easy. And one of those had a little bit of spice sprinkled in the middle. So you do half an hour at steady, then you would do 8 times by 45 seconds with a generous recovery. I think it was 2 minutes. And then you finish off with 30 minutes at that steady, that zone. It's not quite zone 3. It's somewhere, it's like 130 to 140 beats a minute. 45 seconds weren't all out. They were increase the speed, but keep good form. I don't know, sometimes when you get overloaded with easy miles, odd bit of steady state running, it just feels like you've got a bit more
Huge benefit. Yeah.
purpose to it. Yeah, 2 long runs. The second one should have been a spicy finish. And I teed it up when we were under the sea. That run home 6 miles is ever so slightly uphill. You get about 500 feet of elevation over 6 miles. So it's not huge, but you
Nice,
definitely do see your heart rate increase.
Great.
Yeah, so I thought that would be super simple. I'll do that. That will just naturally increase my heart rate. But I was so pooped because Friday I did my long run. Saturday I did that steady run with the 8 times 45 seconds. And then on Sunday I was supposed to do this other long run with the spicy finish. Yeah, the legs weren't playing, Eddie. So
Did you just spin
shuffled.
it?
No, I did the run. I still like 19-mile run, but there was no increased effort on that last 6 miles, unfortunately. I just give myself some grace. I'm still hanging on to this cold. So early on the week, I was like, oh, goodness me, it wasn't pretty, the stuff I was bringing up. But I just thought, what's the point? You know, I'm not really, although, yes, Seven Valleys is a big day out. I think I've got enough fitness to get me round. I just don't want to burn too many matches, force myself to do something, bury myself now, especially with a few weeks to go before Seven Valleys. Friday night was the second time I went out, went to see A Life in Tandem. I loved it. Great to see Luke and Mike, the director. I think, yeah, if it's coming to one of your towns or a town near you, then definitely make the effort. I had a few people call me out because I said I was going to go double denim.
Yeah, no, double denim DMs wasn't there, was it? He looked very smart and handsome.
My thighs don't fit in the denim, skinny denims anymore.
What? And did Luke recognise you, or did you have to tell him who you were?
After I'd forced myself on him, yeah.
Yeah, force double, both arms, tongue straight in. Full moisture.
Hands on the ball. Lisa informs me you can do this. This is not a special thing for this cinema, but drinking a beer, watching a film is incredible.
That blew my mind. There's a couple of posh cinemas in London you can do that. I think my sister's like a member of them because she loves the cinema. And she gets a glass of wine, she takes her kids, sits and drinks wine, and you're allowed to do that in here.
I was busting at the end though.
Oh, yeah.
It was at the very end, actually, where it got me. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but just something happened at the end. You know, you saw lots of a journey with him and his family and his diagnosis, then the challenge itself. But just at the end, it got me. And I thought, how many times a week do you think you cry, Eddie?
Oh, 20, 30?
Well, yeah, I cried again this week. Yeah, well, I was listening to his song. So when I did the Instagram story to say that I'd been out to see Life in Tandem, it was in Newcastle. So I used a song called Local Hero by Mark Knopfler. And yeah, I was sitting there in the kitchen. I was standing in the kitchen, sorry, trying to do my jobs in this Instagram story. Yeah, it's just totally
It hit a nerve.
started to blow up.
Things that get me going. Depends on the time of the month. Obviously, as a woman, like the week before my period, my God, somebody just lets me out in a traffic queue and I'm like, thanks, oh my God, the kindness of people is just too much. Or the rage. Things that get me crying, any small children singing or performing at any sort of concert, they don't even have to be my children. I sit there and I'm like, oh, I lost it. They stand up with their triangle or maybe not the recorders, but a little bit of a piano. Oh my God, I can't keep it together.
If I'm watching Empire Strikes Back, when Darth Vader, the whole father scene, that gets me.
What sort of film has really made you cry? Like, can you think of something that...
Forrest Gump was a roller coaster for me.
Forrest Gump is a roller coaster.
I was an absolute mess. When Lando betrayed Han, Empire Strikes Back, that got me again.
Marley and Me, I watched that with the kids in the holiday. That was a huge mistake.
Hunchback.
The kids were beyond themselves. They were like, why did you make us watch this?
Watership Down. Goodness me.
Watership Down. And however many times you watch it, it still gets to you.
I think it evoked fond memories of Great North Run. People who've done the Great North Run, that song Local Hero, it could have changed now. I've not done it for a few years, but they play it on the start line and it's super emotional. Talking about the Great North Run, we do have to mention, I didn't want to mention it, but it is hot and I've had quite a few people message me about, I think it's because they know my affiliation with Sunderland. Yeah, it was a massive gaff.
Would you have noticed it?
I didn't notice it. No, I relied on social media. And even when social media was kicking off about it, I didn't really see it. Somebody overlaid a map of Wearside. It's a lovely one-off piece of nostalgia for that race that will never ever repeat itself. But in all these things, there's lots of chat on social media. There's probably going to be maybe half a dozen people, physical people who are really feeling it. So yeah,
Can you imagine their emails? Where would you even start with that inbox? I'd delete.
I hope they're just not feeling too bruised, whoever it was. Also, something I think we should talk about is the Lakeland 150 ballot. It totally broke the internet, or broke SI entries anyway. Lisa didn't get in, unfortunately.
No.
I know it was for a 50th year on this planet, so it was quite symbolic. But yeah, 7,000 entries. It was absolutely bonkers. I've totally pinched this from the Lakeland 100 Facebook group. Natalie Crawford shared these deets. Total entries for the 50, 1,977.
Oh my God.
Total entries for the 100, 1,000. We talked extensively last week about maybe there should be 100k. I totally deleted that because I thought the last thing they want is two randoms online suggesting things for this well-organised race. But maybe there is. I suppose this is partly why I deleted it, because I listened to the chat back.
You thought, as you do every week, who's going to listen to that?
Well, my takeaway was, I think in theory there's 100% an appetite for more people to be on that route. And what we see now with the Spine Race, the Northern Traverse, the Dragon's Back Race, and I think maybe even Cape Wrath, event organisers are maximising that route because for a great extent the infrastructure is there. So if they could get the timings right and also appreciate that some people's volunteering shift could end up being absolutely epic. If they could manage those things right, then maybe there is a potential for a 100k or something like that.
Or a 50k. I mean, people will be like, no way, those trails are already so busy.
Well, this is it.
I totally get.
It's really got to be managed well.
2,000 on that route seems unbelievable.
This is the dilemma any event has, which is really, really popular. You know, people want to do this race. There's lots of people missed out. They have to do as many entries as possible without spoiling the event. So it's a really, really fine line to balance.
And the degradation of the trails, I guess, as well. The footfall on all the trails. Just amazing that Mark and his team have built something that has just like grown and grown and grown.
It is a wonderful, I think, and this is why it's so popular. Anybody who gets a bit of Lakeland 100 or Lakeland 50 magic dust on them wants to go and keep going back. I must admit, I did get a little bit of FOMO. I think I was wrapped up in everybody's excitement. I got a little bit of FOMO. But then I did think there was definitely some points earlier in the year where the prospect of these two big long races, then with Northern Traverse coming up too, the mental load was too great. So although I'm a bit like, oh goodness me, I'm going to miss out. I'm sure in July next year, I wish I was on the start line.
You won't. You'll still be injured from trying to take me out on the way to Richmond and you won't be back running yet.
But it's wild. It's great to see that it's so healthy. But it does puzzle me. There's so many other races out there. Why isn't there 2,000 people in some other 50 miler? There's an appetite for races, but there seems to be a huge appetite for big races, you know, like your UTMBs, your flagship events.
You create the chatter around it, don't you? Create the chatter, you create the community.
Yeah.
People see it and they will come and they want to be part of it. It's a beautiful thing.
It's hard to describe how I'm feeling at the moment, though. I think fundamentally I'm fine. I don't feel like I'm in the groove. I feel restless. So these aren't really good signs, actually. I've read a bit about mental health. When you're feeling restless, quite often that is not a good sign. Basically, I want to do 9 days worth of stuff, but I only have 7 days to do it. So for large chunks of the week, I've got a bit of guilt, feel stressed and feel anxious too, which...
What about? Can I help with anything?
Well, I should write into Brew with the coaches. I think that's the takeaway.
You can just WhatsApp me. You don't need to send it into Brew with the coaches. You feel anxious like that you're like, if you're training, you should be working or just asking for HR.
that is the constant emotion.
But I think that's
and also
constant in everybody's life, isn't it? The tug and the like.
Well, because I work from home, I feel...
I know, it's hard.
I probably I should do more stuff at home, but from 9 to 5 at least, I'm physically supposed to be working.
I think I've got quite good at it, of like... I just ignore the house when I start work. I write a to-do list and I just like, I'm not doing, you know, I'll get up, then I'll be like, do a couple hours work and then I'll be like, right, I'll do the laundry. Woo! Little wild. I'll have a cup of tea, back to it. I don't actually do any house stuff very much, but I get up early, I do it then, and then I working hours or whatever my hours are that day.
Probably like a lot of our listeners, you know, spinning plates.
I think it's a time of year as well. I think September, I always get anxious dreams in September about going back to like, I had a dream I was going back to uni the other night or back to school, and I start dreaming about school and stuff again. And I think even when people don't have kids, it rolls around that September. It's like the restart of things, maybe a little bit of an anxious time.
Yeah, Esme's gone back to Scotland, so there's a few things, a bit of disruption in the house too.
And it's a long time till my birthday for the next thing to really look forward to as well.
I'll hang on in there. You're going to bring us up?
Well, I'll start with some lows and then... Last week, we recorded a podcast. We recorded, dear listener, the whole podcast. This is why you need to work with your best friends, because we recorded the whole podcast. And then I said to Gary, and I think how many podcasts have we recorded together?
It's got to be
4
200,
years,
hasn't it?
5 years? Thousands of hours you've put up with me. Anyway, but this is the first time ever. Once we forgot to press record. I think I was doing an interview with somebody and we had to re-record. And this was the first time we recorded the podcast and the whole thing. I often message you saying, edit that out. On reflection. Let's edit that out. But this is the first time I said, I don't want any of that to go out. Can we re-record? And you didn't even bat an eyelid and you were like, course, Eddie, we can re-record. So we recorded. And because, Gary, we're absolute legends, we re-recorded something totally different, in a totally different vibe, with just like back off the back of some interview we did. And then we were just like, right, ask me a load of different questions and we're going to repaint this. And the reason was because I'd been diving into my health following the disaster at Race Across Scotland. And I'd had some blood tests and they're still ongoing. I'm still having to do a few tests of stuff. I started talking about the results and then I was like, actually, I'm not really ready to talk about this yet. And I felt that I needed a bit more time to approach how I was going to handle it myself. It's nothing, please, dear listener, don't get worried. I'm still here. But it was like a big health change for me. And I've got to make lots of changes potentially. Anyway, it turned out one of the big flags of my blood test was that I am deeply anemic in all senses of the word. And I have very low iron stores and zero hemoglobin in my body. So it was a bit of a shock. It explained quite a lot. And I was a bit disappointed in myself that I'd got myself in such a pit. And then looking at the symptoms and stuff and being like, that's so dumb, as I say to my kids, so dumb. I hadn't like put two and two together. But then reading a lot of people that suffer from anemia, everybody says, I just thought that's how you lived.
But it will be just like a slow decline, won't it? It's not like you broke your leg.
It's such a slow decline. But actually, the point I'd got to a couple of weeks ago was that I was so unwell, like I wasn't able to stand up without holding onto a table or a chair because I was getting massive head rushes. I was so tired. I was a bit like blunt, like it wasn't depression, but I just felt like really low mood, like there was no like joy. And people do describe it as feeling a little bit dead. Like I just felt like there was nothing in my life. And I just kept thinking, I'm just really tired. I was running, and I think I said to you, like, I'm really pushing my running because I'm really unfit. I can't get my breath, and I'm so slow. And then it all transpired that actually I just didn't have any hemoglobin or iron stores in my body. So I'm now on some pretty good supplements. I've been on them for about a week now. It could take me like months to get back up to normal levels. I think the fact that I know what it is has made me feel a lot better. I'm still really tired. I find just generally just living quite tiring. But I'm trying to organise my day because I feel much better in the morning. So I run in the morning and then I'm kind of being kind to myself for the afternoon, and it might be a run. It might be a run outside. It might be a run on the treadmill. It might be an uphill hike with my weighted vest. I'm trying to keep the 2 sessions in, but obviously the volume's taken them and I'm not looking. The volume is like half of what I can normally do. I'm carrying on lifting weights because that is good for replacing iron. But so like a deadlift, and I do like 3 sets of 6 or 8 or whatever, I feel like I've got like really heavy strength is still there. But then things like even like a plank or a Copenhagen plank, it feels like somebody's put a paper bag over your head. Sometimes you've got holes in it and sometimes they just tighten it around you. And there's like, so I can run at like zone 2 quite comfortably. But if I go up a hill, I can hear myself go, and I have to have a little stop. Now I know that there's actually something wrong with me. I'm much kinder to myself. Whereas 2 weeks before I was like, come on, you old fat heifer, get up there. Don't rest, run harder. So now when I'm doing my weights and I'm like, my head's going down, so I'm getting a bit of a head rush. I'm like, sit, rest lots between, do a little. Sometimes I don't finish the set. Sometimes just being really kind to myself. I've taken out running fast at all. I'm little bit nervous. So I'm going to have a blood test again in a few weeks to see what's happened. I just want to see those numbers go up a little bit before anything happens. I have carried on training, but obviously my load has gone down. My intensity's gone down. It's all a bit like when you really focus like we are and we get these big goals and I train really hard and I look at my Strava graph. I know I shouldn't do it, Carrie. I look at my Strava graph.
Yeah.
So like March to August, it is the most beautiful straight line you've ever seen. I averaged 70 to 90 miles a week every single week. And now it's gone, I hate it. It's gone like
zigzaggy.
It's zigzaggy. It's so low.
It's horrible. Even though you know, like you're struggling on this road to recovery at the moment, even to give yourself some grace, it's
even
so
then
hard on ourselves.
I know, and I'm like, that is every week. So last week I tried a little bit more volume and I sort of got there, and I was still berating myself, and I was like, come on, Eddie, most people wouldn't, even walking, it's like, I'm still, come on, be kind to, it's a constant reminder to be kind to yourself. Anyway, I told the kids, the first thought was that they were like, is anything going to drop off, Mum? And I was like, no. I think they'd been learning about sickle cell anemia or something in lessons. I don't know what happens when you get that, but anyway, they were like, "Oh, you're going to lose a limb." I was like, "No," but you seem rather excited at the fact that I would. Anyway, they don't care. So I am feeling a little bit better, but could be a long journey. But I feel you guys, you probably don't need to know this, but I can't share what I'm doing in training without telling you, because you're going to be otherwise thinking Eddie's such a slacker. She's not doing anything. So I'd entered a few little races to like try and work on my non-sickness strategy, go and do some races, a bit of fun. I'm just going to have to see how I feel in a couple of weeks, whether I go and start in the back. And I'm too scared to do a super long run because I'm too scared of what I might feel like afterwards. And I'm really scared of going back for the blood test and then the numbers not going up at all, because that is not a good sign.
Is that, what's the chances of that?
We don't want to talk about that. So we'll leave that one out there. I want to keep moving. It's really important for us as runners to keep moving. If we do, angry bears at home if we don't get out for a run. But then on the same time, got to take it easy. Can do enough, but not too much. Oh, what a horrible position to be in. But also, I'm not injured, so I can still run. So I can still get out with the dogs. I can still run 40 minutes, 45 minutes, fine. An hour, fine. And I feel okay. So blessings. I've learned so much about this that I didn't know, which also makes me a better person, a better coach. Something that we need to look out for more as athletes as well. It's prolific anemia. So if you are feeling a little bit short of breath, head rushes, tired, fatigue, low mood, and you're a female of a certain age, don't be scared to go and get your blood tested. And if you want to jump into my DMs and ask what you need to be looking for in a blood test, then do. So there we go. As you said, we put the head torches on this week. I quite enjoy that little. It's only about 10. I do morning, you do evening, and 10, 15 minutes. See the sunrise, start of a new day.
I don't mind this easing into the darkness, but when your whole run is in the dark and you're on the trails in the dark, it takes me a little bit of time to adjust to that. I get a bit spooked.
I'm no good at running in the dark on like a day-to-day basis. I have no problem on a long race running in the dark. I don't feel like I struggle like with technical bits, but we're just out around my local woods and trails. If it's dark, I'm like, I can't get no speed up.
I need more gels.
I'm not taking a gel for a month. A month is my last gel, and I'm going to try not to. So yeah, not much to report on the running wise. Hopefully, I'm getting a little bit more confident now as well. I guess the iron is kicking in that I can do a little bit more this afternoon. I was like, I could try a little bit of intensity, and then I'm like, there's no science out there as well. So I've asked a few friends who are athletes who've been anemic about what they've done. There's no like guidance to go, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. So it'd be interesting to see other people's experiences with it as well. So it might explain a little bit of my sickness as well. It definitely explains why I looked like death and felt like death in Race Across Scotland as well. And as a few people have said, imagine, Eddie, when you have red blood cells back in your body, how good you're going to feel. Watch out, Gary Thwaites. Taking you down.
You're going to feel superhuman. I've never had that. I never really get it. I'm a non-responder for caffeine. I don't really get a rush from coffee.
You're just dead inside.
Even like creatine, I've never felt like a boost from that. I've never taken any like performance enhancing drugs.
Have you not? You just naturally got those thighs.
I wonder what it feels like to be, what is it, EPO?
I would like to know what it feels like as well.
Yeah, if you just really felt completely transformed and like just so much energy.
What I've read about it, lots of people have said once 3 to 4 weeks it takes for the iron to kick in, and then the difference is incredible. So I'm crossing my fingers that is going to happen to me. You'll see rosy cheeks, and I won't need 5 layers on anymore because I'll be so warm.
Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for supporting Brew the Coaches. Their website and newsletter are such a good source of knowledge, articles to read, and YouTube content to binge on too. On YouTube, you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. Precision Fuel and Hydration helps athletes personalize their hydration and fueling strategies so they can perform at their best. They will help you to know your numbers too. They have a handy, free online sweat test and nutrition planner. So head over to www.precisionhydration.com, and don't forget, patrons get 20% off, and all you lucky listeners can enjoy 15% off your first purchase with the code TEATIME2025. If you want that 20% off code, you need to head over to Patreon. Well, this week we're going to talk about the newish Ultimate Direction Ultra Vest 12 litres. I've got some deets actually. So it's going to cost you £140 over at the Centurion Running Store on Patreons. You can enjoy 12% off, and everyone else can receive 10% off over at Centurion Running Store. Discount codes and links will be in the description. So Ultimate Direction describe this vest: elevate your ultra run experience with the redesigned Ultra Vest, boasting a lightweight design, water resistant pockets and ergonomic details. This vest was crafted for long miles. 2 stretch mesh side panels contour to your body in motion, while soft breathable mono mesh liner ensures comfort during extended miles on the trail with a full size range. This unisex vest comfortably accommodates most sizes, and over on the Ultimate Direction website they say it weighs 255 grams. So yeah, 12 litre vest. Spoiler, this was my Lakeland 100 vest, so this is how I visualize I would use this vest: 100 milers, 100 k's, 50 milers, 50 k's, anything with a substantial kit list. And also, yeah, if you're going to be on the high fells or long days out on the trails where it's in everybody's interest that you do pretty much run with a kit list, then this vest would come with me too.
So when you suggested trying this pack out, I was initially like, no, I'll never sway off my Salomon 12 litre. But the Ultimate Direction, the pulling in system is different, but you can do the same as well. So if you don't want to use the full capacity, you can pull in the pack. If I was going to have one pack, it would be a 12 litre with the ability to pull it in if you've not packed it full.
I did try with a couple of scenarios. So yeah, Lakeland 100, I used it for Lakeland 100. It packed everything fine. It did struggle with 13 Valleys kit.
What's added on to the 13 Valleys?
You've got an insulated jacket for 13 Valleys.
Okay, so that is big and bulky, isn't it? Yeah.
And they've also got an adverse weather kit. So you need to have a pack that maybe would cope with the potential change of weather kit. But yeah, check your kit list. Thumbs up for something like Lakeland 100. How did it size up for you? I've got the UK small.
Oh, have you? I've got the medium.
Yeah, it fits me. I think on reflection, maybe I should have gone for a medium. But yeah, for the record, I'm a 5'6" guy. Small fits, maybe a medium would have been a bit more comfortable. Zero bounce. I don't know about yourself, especially with those bungees that keep everything compressed. I didn't have any chafing when I was on the Lakeland 100. That is a pretty out-the-box, legit test to run 26 hours in a hydration vest.
You said you didn't get any chaffing. The back of it is pretty solid against your back. The material is a sort of like a hive material, and that looks like that could give you a bit of chaffing. But
well, everybody's journey with chaffing's different, isn't it? You chaff quite. I found the fit pretty comfortable, even though I've kind of complained maybe it was a little bit too small. It's got stretchy sides, so it does have a bit of give. I find sometimes with vests that don't have any give, when you are breathing heavy, it goes from being quite loose to quite tight. There's no give. So yeah, when you're huffing and puffing up a mountain, this does kind of flex with your body. So I was super impressed with that. We've mentioned a couple of times, yeah, if you don't fully load the backpack, you've got this bungee system on the rear, which hook to the side and hook to the top. There's 3 hooks, so that just cinches everything in place. We both, even just today before we came on the call, you asked me what this hook's for. It took me maybe a couple of runs to work out what all the hooks did and where I attached the bungee to. But once I nailed it, yeah, that Comfort Cinch 3.0 system, it works. It works incredible.
I thought it might be quite noisy. The material is quite noisy. There is nothing more irritating when you're running and you think somebody's running behind you because you can hear your ch-ch-ch. But actually, once it had stuff in and once you've worn it a couple of times as well, that material sort of wears down a little, softens. I think that's the word.
Yeah, I thought it was nice and soft and pretty breathable too. I don't really run hot in a vest, although you do. It's funny, if you go for a run just with your t-shirt on and then you run with the vest, you do feel a couple of degrees warmer.
Oh, definitely. What did you think about the pockets?
Yeah, pockets all fine. I can't complain. You've got these 2 water-resistant zippy pockets on the front. Like I say, I think that's probably where I wish I had a medium, because when I've got 2 bottles full and I try and shove my iPhone in the front pocket, it's a bit of a squeeze, to be honest. But these 2 tiny pockets above the water bottles.
I love those tiny pockets. This is almost a sealed deal for me, these tiny pockets, because the left-hand one is just big enough. If you are a fellow chaffer and you need your lube at a handy position, and it can get lost otherwise in pockets, you can't find it. And then also you won't put it on because you can't find it and you give up. So the left-hand pocket is just big enough to put one of those small little things of lube in, even two. And the right one for your car key is amazing. So it's also got a hook so you can touch your car key. So again, when you can't find your car key or you need your car key to be safe, it's there, you know, and you also don't have to do the where is it? Where is it? You know, you can check a few times on the run. It's there. So those two little extra pockets take two like little essential things.
Also, that left-hand one's got the whistle in too, so that's pretty handy.
I thought the zip at the front was better and more robust than the Salomon 12 litre. That one I found gets locked up with salt and sweat, and the little tab that holds the zip so that you can pull it much easier with gloves on as well.
Yeah, nice finger pull.
Much better finger pull. I thought the top pocket that goes over where the bottle sits, so you put your bottle in and then you have that where you're probably going to put most of your food. I felt the elastic was a little bit loose.
Oh, I didn't experience that.
Did you not? I thought you've got to fit it really quite full. I would be worried that something could quite easily pop out of that.
On the Lakeland 100, I didn't have anything fall out of there. But like I say, this maybe is all alluding to the fact that I bought a vest that maybe is a little bit too small for me. Maybe it's a bit smug.
So exactly. And mine maybe just like a little bit too loose. And then the back pockets, that bottom pocket actually would be a great place to put said vest or something. You could stuff it in a waterproof bag and put it into that bottom pocket quite safely. I think this bag with all the pockets is you just need to really think about how you're going to use the pockets to their best advantage and what you would actually put in them. I think they do need to be full in order to be like secure, but with some careful packing, strategic packing is the word I'm looking for, you could use them really well.
I didn't experience that at all. I know people want everything as small as possible, but I really don't want to like jam everything in my bag because I want it to be I don't want it to be like
well,
a
you're
Tetris.
happy to wear stuff around your shorts and stuff, whereas I want everything in my bag if I can. And I want it sort of like right there. I want it all.
It's got the little zip pocket on the back. On the Lakeland 100, I'd kept my emergency food and my first aid kit and I think my phone in there.
Would you put your head torch in there? Yeah. Well, would you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have my phone in the front ready to call you on like speed dial.
No, I don't do that. Yeah, I'd like a waterproof bag in there with all the like electrical things and important stuff like first aid kit. You got 2 500ml bottles you could take in there, soft flask, and they've got the little bungees to stop the bottles from collapsing into the sock. I thought that worked really well, especially with the elastic sock on the front also. That kept everything a bit more in place.
Now, we haven't tried the quiver with the pack, but it looks pretty similar to the Salomon quiver. It's an option. It's an option that's there. You can wear it to the side or you can wear it over the back.
I don't really like using those little bungee hoops they've got, but you can attach it to the back and the side with the bungees too. But similar to you, I don't use the quiver, but I use either my waist belt or the Terex shorts have a little pull loops too. So yeah, it's handy. You can attach a quiver, which is a good addition. They've got reflective detailing on it. You know, sometimes I know it might sound trivial, but if you're running at night and you want to be seen, then that's a good addition. Generally, yeah, I love it. I knew after the first run that it was going to be my Lakeland 100 vest. And the only negative, and I've said it a few times, if you've got the luxury of going to a shop, then try it on. I know Centurion Running Store have like an open day where you can go and try things on. So yeah, that will be the gold standard. But yeah, I just took a punt and went for one online. It does fit me. Like I say, I'm 5'6". It does fit me. Pretty hench. But in an ideal world, I would have went for a size bigger.
Also, if you're thinking about wearing it in the winter as well, like if you want jackets on, what would you say? Would it be your go-to over another type of vest? Is it what we're going to see you at Northern Traverse?
No, only because of the potential extra kit, like with the insulated jacket.
I got everything in a 12 litre for the Northern Traverse.
But I just don't want to force everything in. I'd rather have a little bit more room. I do have a bigger vest.
I get that.
So maybe it won't, but I've got a little bit of time to worry about that too. But yeah, I'm super impressed with it. Top tier choice. Like I say, straight out of the box, went for a couple of runs in it, put it on the scales because I'm such a sad case compared to my other vests, and this came out the lightest.
They're an OG, aren't they? They've been around.
Well, that was my very
long,
first
long
Lakeland 100
time.
vest, was
Yeah.
I think it was the Scott Jurek signature model whenever he was with Ultimate Direction. Then I went to the dark side and I went Innovate 1 year. And then the rest of them, I'm pretty sure they've always been Ultimate Direction. I had zero complaints, zero chafing. It didn't bounce, it didn't annoy me. It's hard to comment on durability of a product that you've only had for maybe a month or two. Lisa will clarify this. I've got so many hydration vests in the utility room. I was spoiled for choice. So to pick this one, I think is says a lot about how good it is. What about yourself? Do you think you'd take the punt if you were doing
I
a
really
100
like
miler?
it. You know, I've gone on a lot about my obsession with the Salomon 12 litre. So I'm really interested to wear this Ultimate Direction and see its longevity, as you said, but we kind of need a season in it as well. But from my initial findings, I really like it. At the moment, Gary, I can't fault it. Can I step away from my Salomon? Well, I'd like some days in it. That would be my next port of call, is to wear it for a day and see how it lines up for one of those like really long 8 to 10 hour days, carrying the kit, the chaffing, etc. But my initial findings, I really like it. It's a good price point. It seems really durable. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to get something in elastic that will snap. And I kind of like as well the do-up system. The Salomon one, you have to pull so tight as a woman across your boobs. That elastic, it can sometimes cut into you a little bit. The Ultimate Direction fastening system, I would like 3 straps instead of 2, or the option to have 3. There's a space, you just get given 2, but they're pretty thick, they're pretty robust, and I wonder if that will be a lot more comfortable as well over a jacket. So my initial findings are, I really like it. I really like the pockets, I really like the storage, and I'm going to carry on wearing it. Is my Salomon 12 litre going to be left hanging on the peg? Jury's out. We're going to see.
Yeah, I think both Eddie and I kind of taken with this vest. I'm curious, so if you were doing a 100 miler tomorrow, what would be your vest of choice? Yeah, please comment below. And also remember, Patreons can save big time over at the Centurion Running Store and loads of other places. You can save loads of money. You support the channel, you support our partners, and you get to feel awesome too. That is a win-win. Also, Ultimate Direction did send us this vest to test, but they didn't pay us. And more importantly, they didn't preview this video before we upload to YouTube. All thoughts are our own. Thanks for watching. And if you like this, if you found it useful, if you think it could help somebody else, give it a like, give it a share, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel too. And check out the UK's #1 trail running podcast, Tea and Trails, with me and Eddie Sutton. If you like the trails, then I think you're going to love it. Yeah, you take care. See you next time. Thanks, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and the Tales from the Trail section. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail essentials at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk, where you can also download your free How to Run an Ultra guide. Use the code T10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out their brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. I saw on the Harrier socials the next generation X-Moor Pro waterproof jacket will launch this autumn in Atlantic Deep and Pirate Black. You, the awesome Harrier community, voted in your masses, and these are the colours that came out on top. Earthy, timeless and ready for anything. At just 90 grams, I would be drooling at a waterproof jacket for 90 grams, and that's in a men's small. The X-Moor Pro is Harrier's lightest and most technical jacket yet, featuring a 20,000 hydrostatic head waterproof protection and a 50,000 MVP breathability, and details designed for real runners, like a roll-away hood, wrap snap waist store. That's a mouthful. What is a wrap snap waist store?
I reckon you can wrap it around your waist, or maybe you can do it up.
Oh, that's interesting. And ventilation popper, thumb loops and fully taped seams. Well, those stats, I can't think of any race that I've done anyway in this country that wouldn't just sail through kit check. And it's built from 100% recycled ocean waste nylon with no PFCs and no compromises. You can pre-order this jacket from October, and there is a limited edition orange jacket too. It looks delicious. I love the look of that. First up on the Strava Club is Katie Turner, 73.1 miles for the week with the longest run of 20 miles and 4,728 feet of vert. I'm sure Katie has been on the Strava Club before. Loads of stuff on Katie's Strava. We've got weights, we've got walks, we've got HIIT, running and the treadmill. The standout run for me though was that 20-mile run, which was broke up into 8.5 2.4 mile loops. I like the sound of it, but I think the reality would probably break me after about 5.
You'd be off that loop. You do about 3 and then go, I'm heading to the sea.
I wonder if it was like a race simulation. You know, you do these backyard ultras or something like that. I wonder if that's a little table out somewhere with some nutrition on. That sounds incredible. Next up is Ian Luca, 73.6 miles for the week with the longest run of 13.1 miles and 584 feet of vert. That is a request to follow for Ian, but I'm super impressive that you can do 73 miles in a week and only get 584 feet of vert. I wonder where Ian lives, because if you live by the seaside or in a city, you might be able to get that.
On the treadmill, do you reckon?
Oh, that is interesting. Last up is Molly W, 122.4 miles for the week, 31.1 miles longest run, and look at this elevation, 35,259 feet. Our friend from Oregon, Molly. Molly sent in an intro in the past. She's been in Wales doing the Dragon's Back race, and that vert here, that defo, gives it away. It looks like Molly switched to the hatchling sometime during the week. I hope you had a blast, Molly. Great Dragon's Back race socials during the week too. And that's where our results come from this week, actually. Got the ladies' podium. Holly Wotton, new course record for the win. Jodie Gould and Leanne Van Dyke completes the podium. And for the men, David Parrish, Ed Brewer and Lewin Belshaw complete the podium too. If you fancy a challenge of a lifetime, and the 7th to the 12th of September 2026 is free, then you're in luck. Entries for the 2026 Dragon's Back race are now open. You've got 4 events to choose from. Now you've got the Full Dragon, the Hatchling, the Dragon Fire and the Dragon's Tail. Camp life is going to be buzzing, but like we mentioned earlier, maybe pray for those volunteers. It's going to be super busy. We've got a few belated birthday shout outs. These aren't what people have sent in. It's why I've been trawling the internet. First up is Oliver Haig. I met Oliver Haig. I was coming off Styx Pass last year on the Tour de Helvellyn, and anyone who's done the spine race will know who Oliver is. Next up is Susan Chambers. She's been having a blast around Mont Blanc celebrating her birthday. That just looks incredible. And last up is Lindsay Collins. Now, people who listened last week remember we give Lindsay a shout out in our Strava Club. Now, Nathan got in touch, and Lindsay's 43-mile run was a birthday run on the St. Allred's Pilgrim Trail. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Nathan, and happy belated birthday, Lindsay.
Please could I have a shout out to Jenny Coupland for her 50th birthday, which is on the 22nd of September. I was going to put this in next week, and then I thought, let's just get this one in early because I'm so nervous of missing anyone's birthday. Jenny is a huge fan of the podcast, as am I. Thank you. And will be running her first ultra, the 5 Valleys, just a few days after her birthday. Oh, it's such a pity it's not on your birthday. I've loved being part of the running journey she's been on, and for her to stand on the start line will make me immensely proud. I also know that she'll smash her running goal for her 50th year and complete that ultra. Not only has she been on her own running journey, but she's been an absolute cornerstone of mine and a rock through some pretty tough times, and I cannot thank her enough. I should be on the 5 Valley start line with her, but circumstances may prevent that, so I want her to know that I'll be with her all the way, whether in person or not. I also want her to remember the 2 most important tea and trail mantras. Firstly, breathe and believe, and secondly, don't think, just swallow. And you must always finish that with a sort of dirty laugh as well. Much love, as always, Emily. Oh, I love it. Couple of heavy flexes too. Jen Hartley. My awesome friend Colin has just completed the Dragon's Back race on his second attempt. Oh, all the sweeter. But this heavy flex is not for him. Oh, no. It's for his wife, Jen. She's been following him around Wales all week in the pouring rain, whilst also looking after the kids and keeping us all updated with photos and videos. Colin is normally a chief parenting duty guy as a stay-at-home dad, so she's had a work cut out for her. She's a badass woman with a badass job, and I'd love getting to know her more during the Dragon's Back race. In fact, this heavy flex is for all the partners and family members who pick up the pieces for us while we indulge in our hobby. For those who drive us to start lines, literally pick us off the floor at finish lines, take the burden of the parenting and housework while we spend our free time essentially running in a big circle to just end up back where we started. Heavy flex. And our second one is from Ben Notley. I'd like to give a heavy flex to my buddy Rogan Martin. Rogan won the Surrey Trek and Runshire 42k this weekend. Not only did he win, but he also set a new course record with a time of 3 hours 11 minutes. Woo, snaking fast. Even though the race is called the Shire 42, I think it's actually 43k in length. It's not a flat course either. Features over 1,100 metres of elevation, including some tough climbs up some of Surrey's biggest hills. Huge kudos to him for a record-breaking run. If you have a mate who's flexed or orbited the sun one more time, then email us at hello@tandtrails.com. Pop heavy flex or birthday shout out in the subject so we don't miss the dates.
Tales from the trails.
I laughed at the comment about what would be the worst thing missing when you opened the boot before a run and telling the tale about someone running in Hoka Cliftons. I can definitely beat that for inappropriate. And oh my gosh, does Ivor beat this? This is hilarious. I was marking the start of the Centurion Autumn 100 race and I got to the start nice and early, as always, with all my marking kit and opened the boot to realise I'd left my trail shoes on the floor of the garage. I was wearing my recovery flip-flops. But I'm here to mark the course. People are relying on me, and because it's so early, there's no one around, so I improvised some laces with the cable ties, keeping them on my feet, and trotted on to mark my section of the course. Just as I finished, I met James Elson, who looked down at my feet, looked back up, looked me in the eye, and didn't say a word. I was mortified. I have no idea what he thought or was thinking of me, but hopefully it wasn't too unkind. He still lets me mark, so I assume he's just penciled me in as slightly odd but reliable. Oh, I'd go with that. Cheers, Ivor. Or would you carry on marking the course, Gary? What'd you do?
I would feel so guilty.
It'd be one of your weekly cries.
Yeah, I'd try and struggle on. Thank you, Pro Rebel, for bringing us home. Gentle on your stomach, driving your performance. Whether you're trying to get a PB, training for your first marathon, breaking world records dressed as a rhino, or completing your 10th ultra. Protein Rebel's products are easy to digest with no artificial additives, providing both performance and overall health benefits. Use the code T15 for 15% your first over at www.proteinrebel.com, and Patreons can enjoy 15% off every order. You need to pop over to Patreon for that discount code. Going to do a shout out to the Humble Maple Ignite Energy Gel. 24 grams of carbs and only 2 ingredients, maple syrup and sea salt. What's your favourite syrup?
Golden syrup.
Oh,
What were you going to say?
it's full of artificial stuff, golden syrup. It's not the real deal, is it?
Great. Rub it all over me.
You have these sweet coffees, like where they got the pumpkin or the caramel toffee. That is like, no way.
No, how do they do that? I don't.
What, a
but
maple
to be honest,
syrup?
I wouldn't have like golden syrup. I love it because it reminds me of my childhood. But I wouldn't have syrup on. I wouldn't have, like, if I had pancakes, I'd probably have honey, Gary. As I say to the kids,
Not fun times for the bees.
moderation. Not fun times for the bees.
We've got another listener question, but please keep those listener questions coming in. Email them to hello@tandtrails.com. Dear Eddie and Gary, do you ever take the time to look back and reflect on what you have done and achieved for the Tea and Trails community? That comes from Rusty Fox 46. I am constantly looking back and reflecting and basking in the glory.
I wondered where this was going. I was like, yeah, I can just see you. Do you go back like in Instagram messages and emails and just read them and print them off and say, Lisa, read this out to me again before we go to sleep?
More, please. No, I'm serious. I consider us, I'm not going to speak for Eddie, like we're a couple of gears in a machine that's got lots of little gears. You could be a listener, you could be a Patreon, you could be a sponsor, you could be somebody who's shared the podcast, and everybody is pulling together without any one element. As much as we would love to do it for free, we couldn't do it without sponsors, we couldn't do it without patrons. So everybody is integral to making this podcast. We spoke to Rhino Boy, which is going to be Monday's episode. I love the fact that we've got this platform that we can share these stories. I've got a unique skill of being patient, but as a podcast presenter, I think I'm pretty bang average. So I do think like it's just a multitude of little cogs and everybody pulling together to make it happen.
Why do you think you're bang average?
Well,
You're way below that.
yeah, but I can, my skill is I can sit for hours and hours and hours and edit out all the ums and ahs. And when somebody messaged me late at night to delete big chunks of the podcast, then I never seem to tire of that. But no, I don't reflect. Just great.
No, but I do love sometimes, like when we log on to Zoom calls with people we've never met, people giving up their time to talk to us.
Yeah.
I always find oh, so grateful. Thank you so much. And then meeting like the hundreds and hundreds of interviews we've done, we've made friends. I was thinking about that. I was thinking most people come away from the interview, and like you went to see Luke at his film, lots of them have ended up being friends, and then we've met in real life, or other people have touched other people and the stories have resonated, and that is such a privilege. I absolutely love doing that part.
Well, they even become co-hosts. You look at Brew with the Coaches. Every Brew with the Coach has been a guest on the podcast at some point, and then definitely, become friends too.
Things like the Lakeland weekend where people are listening to podcasts as they're running or shouting at us as they're running, and I love that. I don't listen to the podcast. You listen to the podcast for both of us because, oh my gosh, you listen to my voice. Good on you, guys.
I just saw the other day we're coming up to nearly a million downloads.
Shut up. Thanks,
Pretty
Dad.
bonkers.
Download.
That's wild.
Surely that's some sort of like party at Protein Rebel Head HQ.
He hides a kite on maple syrup.
Oh yeah, I love that idea. How many can you do? How many gels can you do?
What have you got coming up?
Oh, mine's blank, Gary, because I'm not really sure what. It's a horrible position to be in. I just got to take it each day. So I stopped writing my plan because then I get sad if I don't do it. So I've set myself an arbitrary goal, which is not going to be met this week. I just know it's not going to be met. So you have to be able to control what you can control in this sort of situation. So things that I can control is my diet, my sleep, my rest. So you have to sort of turn the tables on the head a bit and be like, well, normally when we're like in a thick training block, you're like, the training takes priority, nothing gets in the way, you're doing a session, blah, 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 blah. And you have to twist that mentality and be like, well, that control and that dedication I showed to that, I now need to sort of pay it back for the long-term gain. If I want to be on the Northern Traverse start line healthy, it might be that it takes me this long to be able to get healthy. There's no way Bryn's going to let me do anything like that until I'm a fully functioning human again. So I've got to play the long game. Boring. Playing the long game is the most boring thing. And it's really hard for us to be patient. I was thinking about a big race that I could potentially do. You guys won't need to date long to guess what it was. And then my friends were like, Eddie, you're absolutely but you've got to go through the process of like thinking about it. Could I do that? And then your friends to shut you down. And you're not going to do it in some ways, but you also need to like sort of go through all the emotions of I could, and the point of doing a race. Why would I do a race when I'm not healthy? I'd only end up in a state or unhappy. And the same with the training. So I can't really make a plan until I'm feeling a bit better and I've got the energy back up and I can breathe. But I can do my strength work. I can do that as long as I take my time. So that's good because that is great. That's going to make me, this is the time of year you want to be, if you haven't got a big race, you do want to be focusing on your strength work. So I can focus on my strength work. I can cross train. I can hike. I can do all sorts of other stuff. The thing is, though, because I haven't got the energy, it's not like, I've got all this extra time, because I have to be really mindful with where my energy's going, and it's got to be prioritized into my family, into the work. And then the running the running would take priority over most things, but now it's got to be right at the bottom. So it's a little tricky mindset to be in, even though it's going to be a frustrating month or so. It will be okay. I will hopefully come out the other side and be better and stronger. And all I want to do is thrash your ass at Northern Traverse anyway. So we've got months.
It's a big ask.
That. It's a big ass. Eddie, wait for me. Eddie. I'm manifesting it so that you start to believe it, because only if your race goes really wrong will I beat you. And so I don't want that for you.
Stop sandbagging like that.
If I
Blah,
keep
blah, blah,
putting
blah,
it in
blah.
your head that, and then it will become reality that when I overtake you at Richmond,
You've got
you're like,
experience,
this
though.
was gonna happen.
I've got no
Yeah.
concept of pacing.
I'm a woman. That's a huge bonus on these long races.
It won't feel easy, but should feel, if it doesn't feel
Tell
easy
you
by the
what,
time I
it's
get the
not
shaft,
easy.
then
It's not
I've
easy
gone.
because that first half of the course, that is so hard, that Lakes Traverse course. So it's not easy. So you think, I'm going to take it easy, but 8,000 feet, 9,000, I think it's actually more. I think it's about 11,000 feet, 100K.
Yeah, but you can't appreciate the degradation. I remember getting to, say, Dockwray and feeling okay, but you just can't appreciate then you stick another 40 miles on that and you can barely open your gate.
I don't know what you're going to say there.
It's fascinating, yeah, because on paper I think even people who've won it, you
Looks
think,
so easy. You think,
Yeah.
I remember when I started training for the spine, I was like, looking back, like 22-minute miles. And then you're actually there. And it never says 22-minute miles on your watch because you're walking, you're running, you're stopping, you're mapping. Like, so much other stuff goes on. I can't wait for you to do it. It's going to be great. Can't wait for the recce's.
I can wait.
Anyway, we've got other things. We've jumped ahead. We've got some valleys. What's happening? Where are we at?
So this week is just a normal week. Then the week after that, I'm doing above grim support, and the week after that. So we are 3 weeks
We're 3
out.
weeks, kids.
Yeah, it depends on when this episode goes out. So this week I've got the Scott Run Experience on Friday. I am
An influencer
super
this Friday.
excited. And I've got a big couple of days planned because, if I'm going to the lakes, I really want to maximise what I'm doing over there. So on Friday morning, I'm planning on doing a Seven Valleys recce from Thirlmere all the way to the finish, which I think is about 15 miles. But then a bit of a jeopardy, really, because on the evening with this run experience, I'm doing 8K with those guys. So that could be quite a big day on Friday, then Saturday. The plan says have a rest, but because I'm in the lakes, I'm going to do that out and back to the 9 standards on the way
Oh,
home.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to love that.
It's supposed to be a run with this spicy finish.
But I reckon because it's a climb, you could work up the climb, like practice.
I might do a spicy start.
Do a spicy start but it's a long climb, so
Yeah.
you don't need to work that hard because it's long enough that by the end you'll be like, thank God I'm at the top.
But I have to gauge how my legs are feeling because that's going to be a 20-mile Friday. How much I want to do on Saturday, we will see.
Thanks for tuning in. Just wanted to give one big shout out to Lucy Gossage, who is, when this goes out, will be well over halfway, hopefully, on her Southwest Coast Pass self-supported challenge. I've checked in with her a few times this week. She's doing great, but it's tough. And it's tough doing it on your own. So if you're listening, Goss, we send you big love from all the production team at Teton Trails Towers. Oh my God, Gary has just blown you the biggest, sloppiest kiss. We love you loads. Keep on trucking, keep on eating. I can't wait to hear all about it. You're smashing it. We love you all for listening. Share the episode, share the pod, share the love. Pop over to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and subscribe, or even better, consider becoming one of our awesome Patreons. Thanks to X Miles, Precision Pool Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, Harrier Trail Running, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring our show. Discount codes coming up for you: T10 2025 for Shocks, T15 for Protein Rebel, T-Time 2025 for Precision Pool Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thanks to all our partners and Patreons. We couldn't do this without you and your ongoing support.
Good luck to everybody out on the trails, racing, training, recce's, solo miles, or miles with mates. Let the trail rise to meet you and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self, breathe and believe. Don't think, just swallow and roll with the joy, and the miles will look after themselves. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was the Tea and Trails podcast.